Good morning. Today is Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. It's part of my job to solicit people, to ask people for things, to ask people to give tzedakah, charity, to a worthy cause, to ask someone to give someone a chance and give them a job, to help another person, to make peace with another person. And of course, I get all kinds of response. I get yes, I get no, I get everything in between. I realize that sometimes people feel I'm leaning on them, asking them to do something that they really don't want to do. And they may be resentful and put upon and refuse, or even if they do agree, it may be reluctantly. Once in a while, I get this response, which I treasure. I'll ask a person for something important, and they'll say, "Thank you for the privilege of letting me help you carry out this mitzvah." Because that's the truth. The opportunity that I offer the giver, and I don't just mean me, but anytime we ask someone for something, we are giving them the opportunity to be able to help. And what I and you are offering to the giver is as great or greater than what I hope to do for the recipient. There's an interesting thinker and writer, Henri Nouwen. And he once wrote, "Receiving often is harder than giving. Giving is very important. Giving insight, giving hope, giving courage, giving advice, giving support, giving money, and most of all, giving ourselves. Without giving, there is no brotherhood and sisterhood. But receiving is just as important, because by receiving, we reveal to the givers that they have gifts to offer. When we say, 'Thank you, you gave me hope. Thank you, you gave me a reason to live. Thank you, you allowed me to realize my dream,' we make givers aware of their unique and precious gifts. Sometimes it is only in the eyes of the receivers that givers discover their gifts." And that understanding comes from a curious word in our Torah portion, the Parsha of Terumah. The Torah says at the very beginning, "Vayedaber Hashem el Moshe lemor." Hashem says to Moshe, "Dabel b'nei Yisrael, speak to the Jewish people, v'yikhu li Terumah, and take an offering, take a donation." And this is going to be all the materials that will be used to build the Mishkan, the sanctuary that will travel with the Jewish people through the desert and will ultimately become the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And the commentators ask a famous question: why does God say, "V'yikhu li Terumah," take this offering, instead of "v'yitnu," give an offering? What you're asking people to do is, you're asking them to give an offering. Why use the word take when you really mean give? And there are a number of answers to that. The Baasl HaTurim, one of the classic commentators to the Torah, says that if you look at the word to give, in Hebrew, v'nasnu in Hebrew is a palindrome. The words, the letters of the word are the same whether you read it right to left or left to right. In other words, it means to teach that the giver gives to the receiver, and in receiving, the receiver gives to the giver. It works both ways. The word can be read both ways because the action of giving goes in both ways. The giver does not lose The giver gains. Because in giving, when we give, we are the ones who receive. I heard this story from Rabbi Yissachar Frand. In the 1920s in New York City, there was a Jewish man who was very, very wealthy. He owned a lot of real estate, and his name was Mr. Schiff. Mr. Schiff. And at that time, Rav Moshe Mordechai Epstein was one of the greatest Talmudic scholars of this time. He was the Rosh Yeshiva, the head of the yeshiva in Hebron. Remember, before 1929, there was a community and a yeshiva in Hebron, in the southern part of Israel. And so Rav Moshe Mordechai Epstein traveled to New York to solicit funds for his yeshiva. And he came to visit Mr. Schiff. And Mr. Schiff gave Rabbi Epstein a very, very generous donation of $25,000. In the 1920s, that was money. It was a lot of money. A few years later, when the Depression came, Mr. Schiff lost everything in 1929. He became so poor that he ultimately was living in the basement of one of the many New York apartment buildings he had previously owned. The next year, there was another parlor meeting in New York City on behalf of the Hebron Yeshiva, and Mr. Schiff came to the parlor meeting. The representative of the yeshiva was not Rabbi Epstein, but it was someone else who came. But they had heard what had happened to Mr. Schiff. And so this representative of the yeshiva, which had received this very, very generous donation, $25,000 years before, he said to Mr. Schiff, "We heard what happened to you, and we want you to know that our yeshiva has prepared a loan for you for $5,000. We want to help you. You helped us. We want to help you. We can't do as much as what you did, but we want to help you at a time when you're in difficulty. $5,000. Please accept this loan for $5,000. Mr. Schiff stood up and he said, "I'm not going to take it. And I can't even understand how you would offer it to me. I lost everything. I lost my entire portfolio, all of my wealth, all of my buildings, everything that I owned, I lost. The only thing I still have left is the merit of the $25,000 that I gave to the Hebron Yeshiva those years ago. And now you want to take part of that merit away from me? Under no circumstances will I accept that. I don't agree, and I don't accept your loan." It's really very simple, and it is verifiable. The more you give to others, the more kindness you give to others, the more opportunity you give to others, the more generosity you give to others, the more friendship you give to others, the more of anything that you give to others, the better you will feel about yourself. The more you will take for yourself. And this applies in every area of life. In the material physical world, in the spiritual world, in the emotional realm, in the moral realm. And that's why God says in our Torah portion, and God is saying to every one of us every single day, "V'yichu li Terumah," take this gift that I, God, am offering you. Take this opportunity to contribute to whatever it is. I'm offering you a gift. I'm offering you the opportunity to be able to help with something that is meaningful. Take this gift that I am offering to you. You'll never have less by giving your gift. you will in fact always have more. My friends, I wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.